Thank you. Thank you, Tanya Mann, and thank you for being part of our call this evening.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, terrific. And as we were talking about using MindWorks really to accelerate and to grow your business, we came upon the success of Frank Frey, who is a master coordinator in Texas and a successful second-generation business leader. And Frank was really sharing the plan and the importance of having a duplicatable process and how he's been using MindWorks to start conversation, but really to lead with it. And he's building his team, and he's had some tremendous success. As a matter of fact, just before Frank joins us, I could just share with everybody that his personal group volume increased almost 40% since he came back from conference. So let's hear it for Frank.
All right, great.
And his organizational volume increased by 13%. So fabulous results for Frank. And Frank, we know you're on the line there. We'd love for you to share your plan, your simple plan that you put into effect when you left Long Beach. Frank, you there?
Well,
great.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's a great call. Appreciate you having me on. And I guess you just wanted to share a little bit about kind of the process that we've used since we came back. When I was in Long Beach, one thing that struck me when the MindWorks product came out is I've been trying to look for something over the last few years to really simplify the introduction of Shackley to people. And I found that when I saw that MindWorks product, I knew that was it. And I had 4 directors with me in Long Beach that we talked a little bit before we left there, and we got back in town. I started working with 5 of them directly, and the story I'm going to tell you kind of is an offshoot of that. But up front, I want to give recognition and to also 2 other master coordinators I work closely with, Joanne Boltinghouse and Marty Frederick, that as far as our entire plan, there's pieces that we've all kind of contributed, and we work together and do a lot of things and do some calls and so forth. So it's just not myself out there doing this, and I know a lot of other people are doing similar things. But when I came back from Long Beach, we decided that we wanted to grow our businesses, and I'm talking specifically about 5 directors, and I'm actually going to name them because they might be in your area, you might know them, and you can get some tips from them. But Veronica Linda's in Las Vegas, Linda Allen's down in Bastrop, Texas, Diane Dees up in Richardson, Texas, James Jess up here in Dallas, and George Peralta, a friend of mine, 25 years, down in Hillsborough, Texas. And George was one that also, with me, that we put some of the final touches on actually how we wanted to market this product different from how we'd done everything else. But as a little bit of background, when we came home, we looked and the 5 directors and myself said, well, we need to grow our businesses, and we've been kind of, we've been stable but not growing much the last few years, and we knew that by looking at our PV increases, and everybody knows on the trips that you need to do 10% increase in your volume over your base from last year to get your 5 points. So we said, well, if we're going to get that 5 points, we need to start doing that every single month. And as a point of reference, in the last year, we looked at each other and we said, well, we've all done that about 1 month out of the last 12, so we're going to have to do a little bit better of that going forward. And this conversation took place on August the 20th, right after we got back from Long Beach. And at the time, we looked and we said, well, none of us are on track so far in August to hit our 10% either. We're probably going to do about what we average normally in the past. So we developed this plan for MindWorks, and at the end of August, all 5, well, excuse me, I'll say 6 because I'll include myself in the mix. But so all 6 of us at the end of August had not only surpassed our normal and the 10%, so we all made our 10% in August, and we had a couple of folks that were between 20 and 25% increase, and that was really a 10-day window to do that. Then in September, we continued the growth, and we ended up where we had a couple of folks that were in the 20-25% range, and actually had a couple of folks at 60 and 70% growth. I'm talking 60-70% of the business growth that had basically been a stable PV base for the last 3 years. And again, here in October, it basically was about the same thing. So, and this has all been done really by focusing on the MindWorks product with a simple marketing plan to go out and do that. But we're not just selling MindWorks. We're also increasing, of course, our business in our other areas and our other products. seeing people join our organization. And we really feel that, we can, by the end of the year, we can have everyone at probably a 70 to 100% growth over their PV bases for the last 3 years. So we're super excited about that. Elena?
Hi, friends. I think we just got disconnected, but we're back. Okay. Go ahead, Elena. Frank, are you still there? Frank, we may have disconnected Frank, but when I can continue to talk to the plan that Frank was sharing, because we had a Frank, are you there?
Yeah, Elena, when did I lose you?
Frank, I have to apologize. I was so excited by what was happening here that I pressed the wrong button. So I apologize to you and the 100 other business leaders that are on the line. But I do want everybody to truly hear the simple plan that Frank has shared. And Frank, if you could talk specifically about how you and your team were introducing MindWorks, because I love the fact that you were introducing it and then your callback, and then your meeting plan, those 3 different ways that you were going about introducing MindWorks.
Right. So the difference of what we're doing now is we just go out and we either talk to somebody in person or talk to them over the phone, and usually the conversation goes something like, do you know anybody that would like to have better memory, focus, and concentration? And usually by the time you said that, they go, me, or they say, well, yes, of course, or what are you talking about? And we just go right into talking about, well, we've got a product called MindWorks that does just that. And they usually ask the question, well, how much is it? And we're selling the product direct, right on the spot to people, in most cases for member price. If you want to sell it for retail, you can. But the main idea is we sell them a bottle on the spot, and then we tell them that we're going to follow back up in 7 to 10 days and see how they're going on the product. And that is actually how we've been doing it. We carry these around in the car with us, and we've been selling them, couple here in a day, couple there. I had one person today that sold 6 this morning. I mean, it's just asking a simple question, and the people are purchasing it. And then what we're doing after that is when we come back in a week or so and call on the phone and verify that how are the results. Well, I love it. I want, and so you want to continue purchasing the product, yes. And then what we're saying to them is we've got a presentation that we want to show them, and we're saying, well, what I would like to do is get together with you for about 15 or 20 minutes. I want to show you the entire Shackley lifestyle presentation and figure out at that point in time how you would like to purchase your MindWorks going forward. Is that okay? And they always say yes. And the reason we say it that way is because once they say yes to that question, it's not a question of whether they're going to buy it or not. It's just a question of how are they going to purchase it going forward, which in our presentation, we give them the entire Shackley opportunity presentation in about 10 minutes time. They'll identify for you right there whether they want to become a member and just continue to buy, or whether they want to become a distributor and make a few dollars, or they want a career opportunity and where they want that. And at the end of that conversation, then that is typically where we're then either signing them up with a regimen kit, or we're signing them up with the 2 MindWorks offer or something of that nature. And we're setting an appointment then if they want to do the business to come back and, pick that up on the next appointment.
Frank, it's wonderful. And I especially want to just repeat for everybody that it's not if you will join, but it's how you will join. So I thought that that's something that everybody could really benefit from. So thank you so much. And as far as tips, anything further, Frank? I know we talked a little bit about when you are talking about MindWorks, you're not getting any resistance to price because people are feeling like it's an investment to keep their mind sharp.
Yeah, well, if somebody mentions anything about the price, one thing I'll mention, I'll say, well, I'd much rather spend $50 a month to stay sharp and focused, and particularly people in any kind of business, you know, they're wanting to be at their best, and so, you know, they usually agree with that. And I'll usually follow it up and say, as opposed to waiting until you start to lose your memory and start to have cognitive issues, because I'm fully aware that can cost you $500 a month for a medication that will do nothing but try to slow down the pace of that oncoming, you know, cognitive impairment. If you put it that way, it seems pretty logical. And the other thing about it is and this was a thing that Marty kind of brought to the equation with us early on, was, you know, there is no real medical protocol, or there is no medical protocol right now for memory loss and things of that nature. You can't just go out and take a pill or whatever and fix it. You know, people can have heart attacks and they can have diabetes and everything else, and they get medications and get bypasses. And so they always think there's a medical thing that they can do to fix that. But with this, there is nothing, and I think people realize that right up front, and they're very concerned about their memory. And so I think that's why it's so easy to sell the product in the first place.
Well, thank you, Frank. And I want to share with our listeners the results that you've had since conference. You have in your group 400 bottles of MindWork in your group volume, so in your organization. So 400 bottles of MindWork since the conference. And I know we talked about the distributors and new members and new directors, especially that are in the making, as a result of having a plan and really following this simple, duplicatable plan. So congratulations, Frank, and thank you for sharing the plan that you have followed with your team. And I just also want to share with everybody the quote that I heard from you the other day, which I thought was pretty special to share. If you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. So, Frank Fry, thank you very much for your time on the call this evening and from all that we learned from you. Thank you, Frank.
I appreciate it very much. And by the way, that 400 was those 6 people, not the entire organization.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. That is impressive. And great success. And I know that now with the airing will be really phenomenal, the actual results that follow.